Welcome to the Hawaii Health Data Warehouse's Coffee Break monthly webinar series. I'm Julia Chosey, a public health epidemiologist with the Hawaii Health Data Warehouse, or HHDW. Today, we're going to be exploring two helpful resources for navigating data in hhdw.org. These are the content map and the indicator index. We have a lot of indicators in our system, so we wanted to try to make tools that would help users quickly see what's available and find what's relevant to them. So currently on the site, we have a content map and an indicator index for three of our data sources. So those include the Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System, or BRFSS, the Pregnancy Risk Assessment Monitoring System, or PRAMS, and the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, or YRBS, and that has both a high school and a middle school component. So the tools that we're going to be looking at today are helpful to navigate all of these indicators. You can see we have over 300 indicators from BRFSS, 171 from PRAMS, and a combined 318 for YRBS. So on the website, we do our best to organize the indicators in a way that's easy to search. So we use categories and subcategories to separate out different groups of relevant related indicators. So for example, for BRFSS, we have these 9 categories shown here, and each one has its own set of subcategories. For PRAMS, we have these 7 categories displayed, and again, each one has subcategories. So for example, here, if you were to look at the before pregnancy category, you would find the subcategories including alcohol, tobacco, and drug use, mother's health, preconception healthcare, and pregnancy intention and contraception. In YRBS, we have 8 categories to explore, from academics to substance use, and this same set of categories is available for both the high school and the middle school surveys, but not all of the indicators are available in both, and sometimes they may differ between high school and middle school. So while the system of organizing, it simplifies the search process, it can still take time to find what you're looking for. So we tried to put together a couple of resources we thought would be helpful for users. We're going to look at the content map first. So these show all of the indicators from BRFSS, PRAMS, or YRBS that are available in HHDW. And they are organized into the same categories and subcategories that you see when you're on hhdw.org and you're in that indicator selection page. What these do is it provides you with the ability to see all of the indicators at once. So here's a peek at what the PRAMS content map looks like. So here you can see all 171 PRAMS indicators organized into the same categories and subcategories as you'll see in hhdw.org. So it maps out the location of each available indicator, so you can see all that we have to offer in one place. Obviously, it's a lot of information and you may have to do some zooming in. So here you can see just part of the PRAMS content map. So this shows the indicators available for demographics, as well as some health insurance coverage and before and during pregnancy indicators. With its 341 indicators, the BRFSS content map is actually 2 pages. But again, you'll see the same categories and subcategories that will hopefully make it easier for you to see what's available and find what you need. The YRBS content map also has 2 pages, but this is because one is for high school and one is for middle school. As I mentioned before, the categories are the same, but the individual indicators may differ between high school and middle school. Okay, let's talk about the indicator index. So this resource also features all of the indicators available in BRFSS, PRAMS, or YRBS in HHDW. And just like the content maps, they're organized into the categories and subcategories that you see in HHDW, and they use the indicator titles. But these spreadsheets give you a little bit more detail. So they also include information about the question wording, the years when the data is available, and the variable type. So for example, variables can be yes, no, or categorical. So when you click on the indicator index, it's actually downloaded as an Excel spreadsheet. And because of that, you can filter and sort and search the spreadsheet to find exactly what you're looking for. Here's a look at the indicator index for BRFSS. By default, it's sorted alphabetically by the first column, which is the category. So you can see here the categories and subcategories. Then it gives you the selection title. That's the title that it has on the indicator selection page on the website. And the full title, which gives you a bit more detail. You can see the question wording. And then if we were to scroll over, you would see the years of data available. Here's the PRAMS indicator index and the YRBS high school index. They're set up the same way as the one for BRFSS. So we'll look at these in a minute when we get on the live demo. But first, I want to show you where you can find them. So there are two simple ways to get to the content map and indicator index in hhdw.org. First, you can choose BRFS, PRAMS, or YRBS from the data source menu on the hhdw.org homepage. This will take you to the homepage for the selected data source. So in this case, we are looking at BRFSS. And here you can actually, there's a lot of great information and other resources, including links to the actual questionnaires and CDC documentation. So this is a great resource page. But in order to get to the content map and indicator index, you'll need to click on Build a Custom BRFSS Report. This will then take you to that indicator selection page, which is where you'll pick what indicator you want to see, where you start diving into the data. But at the top of the page, there's an overview section, and here you'll see links to 4 different resources. So our data release notes, we release these every year, and they just bring attention to any changes or additions with a new year of data. And then you'll see the content map and the indicator index, and then a link to the most recent coffee break webinar related to the data source. Alternatively, from the hhdw.org homepage, you can select Build Your Own Report. And this will take you to a page that shows our 6 different data sources. So if you were to click on BRFS, PRAMS, or YRBS, again, it will take you directly to the indicator selection page for that source. So here we're looking at the PRAMS indicator selection page. Let's take a look at these resources. So here we have our HHDW homepage. And as I mentioned, there's 2 different ways you can get to the content maps and indicator index. Let's try, I'm going to go this way first. So we'll look at BRFSS first. So as I mentioned, this is a page that has a lot of helpful resources. But if you want to get to those 2 resources for navigating data, you'll hit the Build a Custom BRFSS Report. So here we can see we've got click here for the content map, and it will automatically load it up here. As I mentioned, this one is 2 pages because we do have a lot of indicators around BRFSS. But here you can see all of the different categories and subcategories, and then within those, all of the indicators that are available in each subcategory. There's also some helpful links over here to bring you back to that summary page, or if you wanted to submit a data request. So this is basically just a great way to see everything that's available at once. Let's go now to the indicator index. So if you click on this, it'll open up a window for you to download the Excel. So I already have it here downloaded. And what you'll see here are, again, the categories and subcategories, the selection title, which is the name used on the website, and then the full title, the question wording, and the years available, which is very helpful, as well as the variable type. So some of the things that you can do in here, say, for instance, you were really just interested in injury. So we can filter the subcategory to injury, and now we can see all of the questions that are related to injury that are available in hhdw.org. So this is not all of the questions that have been asked in BRFSS, but this is all the questions that we have. Another thing you can do, we'll clear that filter, but say you were interested in sunburn, you can also use a text filter. So now we can see there are 4 questions, indicators available in HHDW that have been asked around sunburn. So that's where the power of this particular resource comes from. The content map is very helpful, but you can do a little bit more with the indicator index. So let's just take a quick look at the PRAMS content map. So again, we're going to build a PRAMS report. And here is our PRAMS content map. So again, you can see this one is only one page because we are able to fit everything in on one page. But this is a great way to see, again, what kinds of things, because the way that this survey is organized as before, during, and after pregnancy, you'll see some of the same subcategories repeated. So for example, alcohol, tobacco, and drug use is something that you see in all three periods. This content map kind of helps you really see what's available for each of those categories. And then again, the indicator index here shows you all of the different categories and subcategories. So say we were interested in maternal health. Now we can see all of the different indicators about the mother's health, and we can see after pregnancy. So this it sorts alphabetically, but we can see the indicators that are asked after pregnancy, before pregnancy, and during pregnancy. So this is, again, just a helpful way to search the data. And then I also thought, so again, just to give you an example of using the text filter, say you were interested in birth control. Now you can see all of these different questions that use the words birth control. And you can see that this actually spans multiple different subcategories. So this is a good example where using the text is very helpful because you get all of the questions across all of the subcategories. Okay, and then last, we are going to look at the YRBS. Oh, I'm going to take you the other way. So let's start from the home page. Here we are, HHDW, and I'm going to go with this way instead. So now here we can see images that represent the 6 different data sources we have in HHDW. I'm going to choose the risk behavior survey, and it puts me directly on this indicator selection page. So again, we've got the content map, we've got the indicator index. Let's take a quick look at the content map. And again, here you can see that it's 2 pages. So we've got high school and middle school. So for example, if you were interested, say, in drug use, you could zoom in here. This is for middle school. And here we're looking at alcohol or drug related or the different drug indicators available. For the indicator index for that here, this one again is slightly different. It has 2 tabs. So one is for high school and one is for middle school. Otherwise, it works exactly the same way. So say you're interested in tobacco. So now you can get all of the different indicators around tobacco that are available in HHDW. You can see there's quite a few. So these are the helpful resources that we have available on the site. Okay, I want to give you time for some hands-on work. So take a few minutes and explore the content maps and indicator indices in HHDW and see if you can answer these questions. Okay, let me go ahead and go over the answers for these. So the first one is looking at the content map for BRFSs. So let's go back to here. I have those loaded. And so it is asking how many BRFSS indicators are there around secondhand smoke in Hawaii. So this is one again where, we have 2 pages. So look through here and we might notice that there is a substance use category. And within that, there are a couple tobacco subcategories. So here we can see prevalence. This is cessation and secondhand smoke. So these are all about cessation. But if we look up here, we can see there are 5 indicators around secondhand smoke. Okay, the next question asks about the PRAMS content map, which I have here. And it is asking, at what point around pregnancy can you find PRAMS data about maternal depression? So in this case, we may want to just give a look. So we know that the options are before, during, and after. So if we look at before pregnancy, here we can see that there is an indicator about depression before pregnancy. During pregnancy, for mother's health, there is also an indicator about depression. And then after pregnancy, for mother's health, again, there is another indicator around depression. The answer to this question is that you can get data on maternal depression before, during, and after the pregnancy. The next question is about the BRFS indicator index. So this asks, true or false, BRFS contains an indicator about surfing. So what I would do is just go right in here and use their text filter, and you can see that it does. So this is true. It does actually have an indicator about adults who surfed in the ocean in the past 30 days. And then last, the question involves the YRBS indicator index, and this asks for the high school YRBS. For what years is there data about ever having used methamphetamine? So here we're in the high school. We could use the subcategory and go to drugs, but methamphetamine is a pretty specific topic. So I'm just going to go ahead and start typing it in here. And now we can see, okay, so students who have ever used methamphetamines, we have been asking this question among high schoolers from 2005 to 2023. Now, it is important to remember that YRBS is only asked every other year. So that means 2005, 2007, 2009, etc. But those are the answers to the questions. Here are the answers for your reference. I do want to let y'all know that we're taking a little summer break in August. There will be no coffee break webinar next month, but do join us in September on Tuesday, September 1st, and we will be back with our next coffee break webinar. Mahalo and enjoy the rest of your day. We look forward to seeing you after our summer break.